Hi everybody, and welcome to the Actors Academy. Thank you for tuning in today. So, in today's video, we're going to be talking about how you can go and cry on cue. This is the one thing that so many people want to do, whether you're an actor or not an actor. I hear people all the time asking me, hey, how can you cry on cue? Or how do you cry? Or how do you see other actors cry? What is a trick? Is there a trick to crying? Or do you actually feel it every single time when you're crying and the tears are coming out of your eyes? What is it? Is there a trick to crying on cue, or is there not a trick to crying on cue? Here's my answer to all of you. It depends. Sometimes when the tears are coming out, it's real and you're crying and you're bawling your eyes out. Other times, no. Sometimes these are artificial tears that you have to come up with in the moment. Now, you don't always have to cry in order to be a good actor. A lot of people think, hey, in order to be a great actor, I must be able to cry. And it simply is a skill that some people have and some people don't have it, or sometimes it'll come out in the moment of an actual scene when you're working with your scene partner. It just depends. But there will be those moments for yourself where you are going to want to know, hey, how can I cry? What can I do? Or you need a trick to help yourself. Maybe the director's telling you and they're saying, hey,
I need you to don't cry.
In this scene, you don't have any choice and you have to bring it out. Or maybe you're doing an audition tape and you realize for yourself, you know, it would be good if I had some tears come out in this scene. It's going to help tell the story a little bit more. That would be a strategic element for you to have the tears come out. And I will admit this, when you do cry and tears come out of your eyes, naturally people will tend to think, hey, you're a little bit of a better actor. Whether or not you feel something or you don't, people associate tears usually with being a good actor. Now I'll tell you this, that's not true. It doesn't mean you're a great actor or a bad actor. It just means it's another skill that you have in your toolbox. Now you could be an actor who's wanting to do this, or maybe you're somebody who doesn't even want to become an actor, but you just want to know the tricks and skills of how you can go and cry on cue. Well, that's what this video is going to be talking to you guys all about today. Also, make sure you stay to the very end of this video because you're going to see a point that we have never at all talked about on this channel before, about how you can go and cry on cue, and it's going to be really easy, really beneficial for you guys to implement into your own practice. So without further ado, give this video a thumbs up and let's get into it. Alright, so point number one, and we've talked about this before, but it's not blinking. At some point in time, if you just keep your eyes open and you don't blink at all, tears are going to start coming from your face because your eyes are going to start to water. There just comes a point where your eyes start to dry out. While you're keeping your eyes open, start focusing more in the corner of your eyes on the lights that are around, and focus on how the lights are hitting your eyes. Once we start focusing on the lights a little bit more, all of a sudden they tend to get a little bit brighter for us. It's kind of like if anyone's ever told you, hey, go on a walk across the room, and they're watching you, and now you're thinking about how you're walking, all of a sudden it feels a little bit weird and funky. Well, the same thing happens when you're keeping your eyes open and you start focusing on the other lights around you. All of a sudden it starts to feel a little bit funky and your eyes will start to water, and that can make tears come from your face. I can't tell you guys how many times this trick has been used by tons of actors before. It's super simple and easy to use. Don't worry if you're thinking, hey, am I gonna look weird keeping my eyes open for so long? Trust me, it won't look weird at all. The only time it will look weird is if you make your eyes really big when you're staring at somebody. But just have your eyes normal and just don't blink them at all. Just go and watch any movie where you've seen people crying. Look how long they are keeping their eyes open before they actually go and start blinking. Just look at any movie where you see people cry. Watch it beforehand. See how long they're keeping their eyes open until it shows them actually start to blink once the tears start coming down from their face. Point number two, this one's a little bit of a simple one, and it's kind of silly, but it's also pretty darn effective. Now this one is going to take a little bit of some skill from you. You're going to have to be a little bit of your own magician because it's going to require an onion. Now I'm going to explain how this works and how you can actually use it and implement it, and in the situations where you absolutely cannot do this. So here's the thing, when you are going and doing a self-tape for yourself and you're at home and you got your camera out, you are not getting your whole entire body within that tape. It's only getting a certain part of you. You could have a cut onion already placed below the view of the camera, and you could have it, maybe you pick it up from somewhere, maybe you flip it over, whatever you got to do, but then you just hold it close enough where you know, hey, it's not going to be in the camera frame, but it's as close as you can get it to yourself. And then all you do is just take a little bit of a breath in from your nose, and then your eyes will start to water. And this is super simple. It's with the onion trick. If you're somebody who's an actor who does work on stage, you could be backstage and you know, hey, you're going to have to run on stage, and you know, hey, you want to have tears coming down your face. Well, when you're backstage, stage, cut that onion up, put it close to your nose, sniff a little bit, water will start coming from your eyes, the tears will start to fall, you start crying, then you could run out on stage, and then boom, you'd be perfect and you have the tears. Now, the times that you can absolutely not use this and you must absolutely stay away from this is when it's actually visible. You have to remember, as an actor, you're a little bit of a magician. You're surprising people with your emotions and what you can do and what you bring out. If you show people, hey, look, under the camera, I have an onion here, well, then it takes the magic away and it's not as beautiful anymore. And they start to build a negative mindset around it. So it's something that I wouldn't necessarily tell people about, but if it works for you, absolutely use it because it works. Point number 3 is now to go and fake it. Literally go make your face and the face that you're gonna make when you're crying. Start to change your breathing a little bit, change the timbre of your voice, do everything physical that you actually do when you're crying, except minus the tears. Now, here's the reason that this can be helpful for you. One of two ways. One is that people do not always have to literally see tears coming down from your face. Meaning if you're on stage and you happen to change your physicality and the way of your breathing, and you start to change your voice, and you start to do everything that you naturally do when you're crying, people will automatically just think tears are coming down from your face because when you're on stage, the distance helps you a lot and you do not always have to have actual literal tears coming from your face, but just the physical gestures and the timbre of your voice can tell that story enough. Now, the other reason that this can actually be helpful is once our body starts to physically act as if it is sad, sometimes for some people, it will naturally make tears come down from your face. So that is a benefit. So try it out for yourself and just see when you actually start to change the timbre of your voice and your breathing and your physicality, then start to see if the tears come out of your face. Because look, if we're all straight and up and acting like we're confident, then there's no way we're going to be able to cry. But if we can change our physicality to try and help influence our body, sometimes it can help the tears come out of the face. This is more so working from a place of outside in. There's a lot of different things that we can do as actors. There's inside out working, and then there's outside in. This one happens to be a way of working from the outside in. Point number 4, this one requires a little bit more work from you. It requires a little bit more time, but this is something where you can try to work on building up the tears for a scene for yourself using music. Now, here's how music can be helpful for us. When you play a song, instantly you have a feeling in yourself, whether it makes you feel confident or it makes you feel happy, or maybe it makes you feel sad. Some ways that you can use music for yourself is, say you have a particular scene and you know in the next month or month and a half, you're gonna have a scene where you're crying and you're bawling your eyes out. You got to kind of work yourself up towards it. Well, something that you can do is when you're working and practicing on this scene beforehand, try having music playing with it at the same time. Music that makes you sad. Because as you're working on the scene and as you start playing the music, naturally it'll start making you feel sad, and also if the scene has good writing in it, that will help. And then they start working in tandem. The writing and the music, they tend to start working together. And when this happens, it can build a powerful synchronicity within the art forms, blending themselves together with the music and the writing. As you're going through and as you're practicing, you start to find that these tears may come out for yourself. And then your body will start to remember this feeling when it is doing this scene. So when the day comes and it's your time to shoot this scene now and the cameras are all on you, this is when you're starting to work on the scene and you're doing it in front of the camera that the tears can come out. This takes a little bit of some time, again, because you have to practice it in order to do it. But if you have the time, this can be really helpful and beneficial for you as the actor. Now, this next point is super simple for all of you, and it's one that can be implemented very easily and very well. For those of you who've stayed all the way to this part of the video, congratulations, because you're going to find this will be really helpful for all of you, and it's pretty darn easy to implement, just as our first point was in this video. So what this one is going to be requiring is for you to yawn. So if you've noticed ever in your life when you yawn, if you were to yawn right now, yawn a few times over and over and over again. Pause the video and start it, do it now. You'll notice when you start yawning, your eyes start to tear up a little bit, and the more you yawn, the more tears that start to build up until eventually it'll start coming down from your face when you start blinking your eyes. This can be a really helpful trick for the actor. So if you know that you got a self-tape that you're going to be shooting, and at the start of this self-tape you got to have tears coming down from your face, well then before you push record, just start yawning over and over and over until you build up enough tears in your eyes, and then you can start crying, and you go and push record, and you'll instantly be able to start with the tears on your face. Same, hey, if you got to go and you got to run on stage in tears, tears, well, you could do this as well. Just when you're backstage, start yawning to build up those tears and then go out on stage. This is something that I had to do before. There was one scene that I was doing on stage, and for whatever reason on that particular day, it was just hard for me to get the tears to come up. So when I was backstage, what I did is I was just back there yawning. I had to use this technical form, an outside-in way of approaching this, and literally have the tears build up in my eyes and then have them flood out when I was on stage. Now, I want you guys to all remember this, though, when it comes to acting. You do not have to cry in order to be considered a good actor. Crying is just a skill. It's a tool that can be learned and worked on. When you're working and doing a scene, sometimes naturally these tears will come out, and that's what we prefer. If we can naturally have the tears come out, then great. But if you can't, don't beat yourself up. That's completely fine. Just use some of these methods, some of these outside-in methods to help you in this process. Now, these are things that I told you that you guys can actually go and implement for yourself, what you guys can actually do, but I'm going to be giving you this little extra bonus point here that might ease you a little bit more so you don't have to worry about crying so much. When you get booked for a part, if you're on a movie set or a TV show and the director wants you to cry and you can't cry and you can't make it come out of your eyes, usually what they will do is they will have these things called crying sticks, and they blow these little things into your eyes and it makes your eyes water like crazy, like nuts, and then you will start to cry and the tears come out of your eyes. Something else that they'll sometimes do is have makeup artists come and they'll wet your eyes a little bit so it looks like you've been crying, and they do all these little tricks and things to help the actor. Ultimately, if you're on a movie set or a TV show, they want to get the best performance out of you and they want to tell the best story that they're able to. And if they want the actor to cry and the actor's not able to naturally make themselves cry, they have a lot of tricks when they're on set, and those are some of the ones that they will use. So you don't have to always worry about your own tricks on what you need to do. That's only really if you're working on your own, you may be doing a self-tape, or maybe if you're on stage or for whatever reason you just have to use it on your own. Those are some tricks. Or maybe you just want to go and impress people and say, hey, look at me, I can go and cry on cue right now. So anyways, these are some of the tricks and tools for you guys on how you can actually go and cry on cue. I hope you guys like this video. Make sure you all subscribe to the channel so you stay up to date with everything. Give this video a thumbs up if it helps you guys. Also, I'll be leaving our 10-hour acting masterclass or 2.0 version down in the description down below, and also in the comment section if you guys are interested in that, as well as our 10 acting resume templates. Alrighty, see you guys next time. Bye guys.